Hi everyone. Okay, welcome back or welcome to my channel. First off, I am sorry there was not a video this past week. I think I've just come to the conclusion that even though I could put out a video on Monday every other week instead of Sunday when I'm working the weekend, it is still hard for me to do that because I'm just not getting a break and I'm tired, and all I really want to do when I work the weekends is just come home and sleep until I have to go back. So I think I'm gonna start doing my video releases a little bit different. I will definitely be releasing videos the opposite weekends when I don't work, like this weekend. And then I would like to do like a monthly wrap-up video, what I read, what I most enjoyed, you know, what I'm looking to for next month, as well as what I'll be reading next month. So, and honestly, if I don't really have much to update, I don't want to just like put out a video to put out a video, which is also one of the reasons I didn't post a video this past weekend, because honestly I just didn't have much to update. Why don't we talk about these two first? Caught Up by Navessa Allen and The Secret Garden. No, I have not finished these, but I have read more in them, as well as some other books. So I think the last time we talked about Caught Up, I think I was back, it might have been around 100 pages I was into it, I'm not sure. But now I'm either just over halfway or right at halfway. So like 100 pages is like back here, and so I'm here now. I'm on chapter 19. You know, the book, it's not bad. It is kind of interesting, but it's also kind of frustrating. I'm not entirely sure how to feel about this yet, even though I'm like right at about halfway. I would like to finish it this weekend, and I'm pretty sure the last time I talked about this book, I said I also wanted to finish it within that weekend or the next week, and I did. I promise I did. But honestly, you know, the same with this one. I've read a couple of more chapters than the last time we talked. I'm on chapter 8. And I think the last time we talked, I was on like chapter 3 or something, or 4. So I've read a couple more chapters in this as well. It is definitely getting more interesting. But I think the thing with these two is that since my month to like read them and be done with them has passed, I'm still reading them. You know, I don't read them every day, but usually every other day I try to read at least, you know, a chapter or two. It really just depends on what's going on in the book and the chapters I'm reading and whether I feel like reading another one. But yeah, thereabouts every other day, every 2 days, I try to read at least like a chapter more if I can, or maybe just a couple of pages. So I'm slowly getting through them, but I'm not concerned and like all consumed with finishing them. My other book that I didn't finish last month, that I was listening to on audio, Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. I actually have listened to a lot more of that. I think last time we talked about it, I was maybe 25% of the way in. I am now 44% of the way in. And I will admit, it's getting more, I'm getting to where I'm willing to listen to more and more of it. The stories are getting better as I get further into the book. Maybe it was just like that really whole opening thing that really just dragged me down. I mean, I don't really know. I still don't really like Sabine's character. She's just giving off like villain vibes, but like not a villain that I like. Alice is interesting, and I have not gotten to Charlotte yet. So I think I just finished a section on Sabine, and by the time I got home, I finished that from my drive from work this morning. And so my next section up is Alice. I think there's a couple of chapters in this one for Alice. And then I can't remember if there's a couple for Sabine after it and then it's Charlotte, or if Charlotte is coming right after this section on on Alice. That is the next to listen to. Anyway, the point is that I've really only heard about Sabine and Alice so far. I haven't really heard much from Charlotte besides her appearance in a few, I think like 2 or 3 of Alice's chapters, or maybe it was just one. I can't remember now. But I'm excited to hear more about her. But yeah, so, you know, I'm slowly getting my way through those 3 books. But I really am trying to focus on my TBR for this month, because there are just so many good books in it that I want to read, and that I don't want to stall and not read because I'm wanting to finish books from last month. So anyway, I think y'all guys, I said that kind of weird. Anyway, I think y'all will be proud of me because I have finished 2 of the books for my TBR. I just finished one of them like 45 minutes ago. Kingdom of the Wicked and Enchantra. They were both so good. I read Kingdom of the Wicked and finished it first. I think I read it during work. So I put my phone aside, you know, from a few of the rereads and other books I've been reading on my Kindle app. And I read this when I could. And I think because, yeah, I read it during 2 nights at work, but when I came home in the morning, I would also read like a couple more chapters. And so when I was coming home from work Wednesday morning, I think I took it with me to work Monday night, or it could have been Sunday night, but I read it in like 2-3 days. You know, I brought it in, read a couple. I think by the time I left, I think when I first started reading it, I think I got to like page like 8. I got like 80 or 90 some pages in, and then I read a couple more when I got home. I think I read like 2 or 3 more before I was like, and then the next night at work, I read like a good chunk more of it. But yeah, I ended up only having like 5 or 6 chapters left in it by the time I left work the other morning. And when I came home, I changed out of my clothes, changed into my pajamas, and I straight away finished the book. And it was so good. I immediately wanted to start the next book, which is Kingdom of the Cursed. But I have not started it. Excuse me. I just had some lunch. Sorry. After finishing this book, I am completely convinced that I'm going to love the other 2 books in this trilogy. And if I start reading them, I'm literally probably just gonna like binge and not read anything else until I'm done with it. Which there is nothing wrong with that, but I do have 4 other books on my TBR that I would like to finish. So I'm holding myself back until I can read at least 3 more from my TBR list. And seeing as how I have a week and like 3 or 4 days left of the month, I would really like to read some of my other books for the month. But it was so good. Amelia, is that how you say her name? Amelia or Amelia? I'm not sure. M and Wrath. Oh, Wrath. And you know what? Now that I've read Enchantra, Wrath and Rowan kind of remind me of each other in a few ways, because like they're both holding a lot of secrets back, right, and not telling them to the main girl character, although Rowan in the end was a little more truthful and wasn't holding back much secrets towards the end. But yeah, those two characters kind of reminded me of each other a little bit. But anyway, Kingdom of the Wicked was so good. I am excited to read the other 2 books. I mean, I don't want to give too much away, but I really want to know like what happened in the time from, okay, see, I don't know, I don't think I can say that without spoiling it a little bit. But I want to know what is happening. Like, what is going through Wraith's mind at the end of this book? Because he gets, you know, and I'm not going to say more than that. And, you know, then he's back, and, like, she's so relieved, and then it seems to go downhill, and I'm like, what the hell happened to this man? Like, what is going on? Like, just what? So, what? I'm very interested in finding out what happens next. Now, Enchantra. I actually basically just binged this in less than 24 hours. Was it less than 24 or was it like 24? Anyway, I started this, yeah, because I only brought it 2 nights and I finished it I finished it just a little while ago. Anyway, the point is that I brought it to work and I probably read like the first like at least 100 pages, I think, or something like that. Well, anyway, the point is that I read like a good chunk of it, you know, the first night I was reading it, and then I didn't read any when I got home because I was just so tired. I pretty much went to bed. And then the next night, which was last night, oh Lord, yeah, my memory is really going. I pretty much read like the whole middle and second half of the book until I think I was on like page 200 and something. Yeah, I was a little over halfway. When I was able to leave work and come home, and so I read like the last third of the book once I got home this morning and finished it just a little while ago. It was good. It was very good. I actually, and you know, I read Phantasma and I loved Phantasma. I did. I loved it. 5-star read for me. And you know what? Enchantra is also a 5-star read for me. You know, at first I wasn't really sure it was gonna be anything more than a 4-star read, because honestly, listening to listening to Genevieve in the first few chapters, I was like, is this girl for real? And then she got herself in trouble, and I was like, is this girl for real? Is she gonna keep like acting like this? But Rowan made it so much better, and then their interactions were so good, and all the siblings interactions were so good, and the book definitely got better and better as I read along. And then once the hunt started, I was like, whoa. And even though it's also like a game in like a cursed manner, it's very different from Phantasma. It was just so good. And oh my gosh, Rowan and Genevieve's story, I thought we were about to end the book with like, and I was about to be like, oh hell no. No, 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 no. But you know, then at the end, and I just was like, okay, we're good. But it does leave a few questions at the end, like, are they gonna succeed in this? Are they gonna succeed in that? What is gonna happen to the siblings? So actually, I haven't tried looking up to see if there's gonna be any kind of like spin-off series for like Rowan's siblings. I think that would be interesting. I'd be interested in reading that. I definitely would. So I guess we'll see. But yes, so I have finished my first 2 books of my March TBR, Enchantra and Kingdom of the Wicked. So I'm really hype and jazzed for myself, even though it is like the 20th of March and I should at least be done with a 3rd book right now so that I can say half of my TBR is finished and I only have 3 more to read. No, I've got 4 more to read. Now the thing is how do I choose what to read next? And honestly, I don't feel like I need to read one at a time. I feel like I could probably read 2 at a time. But I would definitely have to have like space in between reading, like if I chose to, because I would have to get myself back in the mindset of the book I'm reading. So excuse me, I'm not sure what I should try attempting to read next, because I don't remember if I told you guys, but I had bought this maybe like 1.5 years ago, 2 years ago, and I was really excited to read it. And I think I read like the first like 5 or so chapters, and I was definitely getting interested in it. But I was just distracted by something else, and I kind of like let this fall by the wayside, and so I never picked it back up. So I really would like to get into this because I have heard that it's really good. But I also have the ensemble, which I'm pretty interested in reading. Then I have Awake, a memoir by Jen Hatmaker. Also excited to read. And then I have the thickest book I have ever owned that I am supposed to read. It is Under the Dome by Stephen King. It's a little over 1,000 pages. So, in all honesty, I feel like I should start reading this, and then, you know, one of my other books here. I feel like I really want to read the 7-Year Slip. So I think I'm going to start reading Under the Dome and the 7-Year Slip. And then hopefully, I mean, I could see myself finishing this book this weekend if I can, you know, get back into it and enjoy it. But I make no promises to finish this book in the weekend. Actually, I don't even know. I'm not saying I couldn't finish a book this long if I was really like truly interested in it, which I might be. And then I might not be able to put it down, and I might just zoom through it in the next week. I mean, I don't know, you know? But yeah, we'll see. It would be awesome if I could finish this weekend, because then I could move on to one of my other 2 books that I have left, you know, and just read a couple chapters at a time of Under the Dome while I read through the rest of my books. So, but yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna start reading this, and this will knock me out and make me go to sleep. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I think that's all the reading updates I have for you right now. I will definitely update some more throughout the weekend. Like I said, I'm hoping I can go on ahead and finish out the 7-Year Slip, be done with it by tomorrow, move on to my next book. There was also a few different books I read on my Kindle app. I can't remember what they... I think one was like a short firefighter series. And then I read 1 or 2 other books along with that, or after that, or before it, or whatever. But yeah, I think that's all I have for you right now. Like I said, I'll update again tomorrow, Saturday, and if I get any more significant reading done on Sunday, I'll update a little bit then too before I start editing and uploading this video. So thanks for coming back again, you guys. Thank you for your views. Even though there are not a lot of you, I appreciate the few of you that do. So yeah, okay. Bye guys. Hey everyone. Okay, so I just want to give a quick reading update before I start editing my whole video. I don't have much to update since I think I filmed Friday and today is Sunday. I'm not sure, but I don't have too much to update. I have started reading some in the 7-Year Slip and Under the Dome. Let's see, let's start with Under the Dome. So I didn't get too far in. I just read it, I think the first 2 parts or whatever. Let's see. Yeah, I read, because it's like split into sections of how things happen. So I read this first little section, the airplane and the woodchuck, which was literally 1, 2, just a couple of pages, and then the next section was Barbie, which is a guy. I thought it was a girl, but it's a guy. And that was also just a couple of pages, but obviously longer than that. And then the next section, Junior and Angie, I haven't started that yet, so I'm on page 19. So a long way to go, since this is, I think, like 1,070 some pages. Yeah, 1,072. Yeah, 1,072 pages, and I am on page 19. It's actually pretty interesting so far, though, because I think when they tried to make this TV show, I watched like the first episode, and it was interesting, and I wanted to watch more, but I got like distracted, never watched more, and then they canceled the show. So then I was like, why would I watch a show that was canceled and wasn't really like ended properly? So I never watched any more of it, but I do remember a lot of that first episode. So reading the first like 2 little sections out of this book, it was really interesting to see it in the written form. But interesting so far. I mean, not much has happened besides the dome has just come down. The airplane has crashed into it. The woodchuck has been split in half. And the other guy that was walking on the road saw it, freaked out, started to run away, then ran back and was like, oh my God. So, yeah, not too much has happened yet. Like, the dome has just come down, like I said. So, I'm guessing in the next little few sections, everybody will start realizing it and some stuff will start happening. Now, in the 7-Year Slip, I actually read a good portion of it, I think on Friday when I filmed, and I said I was going to start them. I think I read up to, I don't even know. I think I read up to like page 80 something, up to page 82, which was chapter 9. And then so far today, I have read up to 121, which is chapter 14. It's so good. So at first, because when I had read it, or when I had started reading it before, I had read up to like page 50 something, I think. Yeah, I had read up to chapter 5 when I started reading it the first time. And so even though I read the first 42 pages again, I also skimmed through them just a little bit because I remembered mostly everything that had happened in those first 42 pages. But I was a little, forgetful about some of it. So I like read the whole first chapter and then the second chapter. And then I kind of like skim read. I like went over it really quickly, the next 3 chapters to get to chapter 5. And so then I guess that would mean I really just read the next 4 chapters before I decided to stop. And I was going to read a little bit more on Friday or Saturday or whatever day I read to chapter 9. I was gonna read more, but I like fell asleep really early, and so I didn't get to. But I have, like I said, read up to chapter 14. Yeah, I've read up to chapter 14 so far today. So I've read another 5 chapters. I would like to read some more because it's getting good. I'm finally like really getting into like more of the meat of the story. But I would like to talk about these characters for a second. This FMC, she's really like annoying me. Not really like pissing me off, but she's annoying me because it sounds like she was really adventurous and go get him with her aunt, right? And then in her present time, 6 months earlier, her aunt passed away. And so since then, she's just felt really like not herself. She doesn't feel like doing anything new, starting anything new, having any new adventures or whatever. So yeah, she just doesn't want to get out and explore anymore like she did while her aunt was alive. And don't get me wrong, I understand that for her aunt was like pretty much like her person, and she wanted to do everything with her. Like she was just that number one person that was there for her. And so in her grief of her passing, she's grieved, it seems like, but she also hasn't grieved because she won't paint anymore. She, like I said, she doesn't want to go out and do anything new, travel anywhere. Like she just wants to bury herself and like not think about it, which is not healthy. And so she's at this crossroads because she's potentially going to be up for a promotion, but her like personal life is just like, I don't want to say it's going down the drain, but besides her two friends that she sees outside of work, she doesn't do anything. She doesn't go anywhere. And I don't know, it's like, maybe this will make more sense. So the main male character, he's a chef, and when they cross in the apartment 7 years earlier, you know, he's just at the start of his journey to like work as a chef in a restaurant and maybe open his own restaurant. And so she's like meeting him at a stage where he's still very ideal about what he wants to do for his future. And she's at a point where she's not quite doing the job she imagined, but she likes the job she has. And so she's like kind of excited about this new promotion she could be doing at work, you know, overseeing more stuff, being in a more supervisor, managerial role. So they're both at very different points in their lives. And she's just like so like anti like spontaneity and happy and whatever. She's just so anti that when they meet in the apartment and he's all like, I don't want to say doe-eyed or naive because he's not, but he's so optimistic about everything, and she's at a point where she's so pessimistic. So it makes sense that they would meet at that point, because he's just starting the journey and she's in the middle of a journey, and she could choose to go this way or she could choose to do something else. But her like pessimistic attitude is kind of driving me nuts, because one of the rules her aunt told her before was never fall in love in the apartment. But you know what, to me it kind of sounds like the aunt, when she fell in love, she didn't like try to go for it, or like she went for it in the time of the apartment, but once she was back in the future and she wasn't intersecting with that person anymore in the apartment, I mean, I don't know for sure, maybe she did try to find the person she was in love with, but at this point in the book, it doesn't sound like she did. So now her aunt has given her advice, well, you know, in the past, of if you meet somebody in the apartment, don't fall in love. You know, that, and I feel like that's kind of not fair to tell. Like, I could more understand if she was like, if you meet somebody in the apartment, just be careful. Like, you know, I don't know how to say it, but I feel like she could have been like a little more optimistic about it, about like, hey, you always meet people 7 years in the past. So if you meet somebody, you fall in love, make a friendship, whatever, just remember, when you stop meeting in the apartment, that was 7 years ago. So you need to think about where they would be 7 years now, and then if you want, try and find them. You know, I just felt like she could have been more optimistic about it. But in this one way, her aunt was very pessimistic and was like, don't fall in love in the apartment, it doesn't end well, blah blah blah. And yeah, maybe sometimes it wouldn't, but you know, she says that her aunt was a person that always wanted to try everything and was always up for something new and blah blah blah. And I don't know, I just have very complicated feelings about it, because it seems like her, on the one hand, her aunt was very go get 'em, but then after her aunt fell in love in that apartment and then didn't end up with the person, that she then became go get 'em about everything else that didn't get too personal, because she thought it wouldn't last. Well, maybe it could have lasted, but you didn't try. Of course, we don't really know if she didn't try, and I'm not sure if we're going to find out if she did or didn't try, but like, that's how it's come across to me so far. So yeah, I'm very like really worked up about this because I already like her and the main guy together, and I would like for them to work it out. But yeah, I am planning on reading more in this today. I don't know how much more I'll read in it. I would like to at least get halfway, so maybe to chapter 20. So I would like to read at least the next 6 chapters today. And I mean, shoot, if I keep reading and it keeps like going and going and getting better, and I might just keep reading. But yeah, hopefully I am planning to finish this by Wednesday at the latest. And then I'm just gonna be full on reading Under the Dome. After that, I have 2 other books left to read for my March TBR, which is Awake by Jen Hatmaker and The Ensemble by Aja Gabel. So I have really high hopes for this. Although if Under the Dome goes kind of slow, you know, I'll probably pull one of my other 2 books that I have left and also start reading that along with it. Kind of like how I'm doing the 7-Year Slip and Under the Dome now. But yeah, I guess we'll see. I don't really have many other updates on reading. I have gotten into a big slump of Susan Stoker because I've just been going back and like rereading all her series that I've already read because they're so good. And I've also gotten into a big watching slump of Code Lyoko. If any of you have ever watched Code Lyoko, give me a like, because it was just such a peak cartoon. And it's a French cartoon, but it was so good. If you know, you know. If you've never watched Cartoon Network, you don't know. And don't give me that crap about, oh, this is Cartoon Network and it's like that new shit that's on. No. That is not Cartoon Network. Cartoon Network was Courage the Cowardly Dog and Ed, Ed and Eddie and Billy and Madison and Code Lyoko and all the other stuff, and not that new crap that's on TV now. Actually, I don't even know what's on TV now because I don't look at Cartoon Network anymore because it's not the same. Anyway, I've been rewatching Code Lyoko on YouTube. And I did buy 3 new books today, but I think I'll save them. And when I get paid again and I potentially buy more books, then I'll show you all what I got, because it's not like I'm going to read any of them right now. Although 2 of them sounded very interesting, and the 3rd one is a 2nd book in a series. And you know what, guys, I'm really gonna have to get another bookshelf because I've got 3 stacks of books right here in front of me plus those 3, and I've got, good lord, I've got so many more in a cabinet. I've got like at least 20 other books in a cabinet just stacked in there because I don't have room. I need a big bookshelf. That's what I need. Okay, I'm gonna go now, you guys. I hope you have a great weekend. I hope your March is going great. It is the 22nd, so we've got the rest of this week and then a couple days next week, and then we're into April. Can you believe the year is going by so fast already? I think I'm gonna have to do a review of my first 3 months of the year. What was good, what wasn't, 5-star reads. So, yep. All right, guys, look forward to more videos. That's all I have to say. Okay, bye.